Hey, Vicky Midwood here. I just thought I would bring you a little snippet of what's going on for me from my garden. Oh, cat's just seen something flying past me. Um, it's been an odd week for me this week. I really didn't feel particularly great on Friday or over the weekend. And I think it's just a flare-up of my Hashimoto's. For those of you who think that I've just mentioned the name of a motorbike, no. Sounds like it though, doesn't it? It's an autoimmune disorder that affects your thyroid gland, and it's usually brought on by gut issues mainly, and also overworked adrenals can definitely play a massive part in it. So long story short, had a big blood test and revealed that I had issues with my gut, issues with my adrenal glands, and I was heading towards metabolic syndrome, which is pre-diabetic. In other words, I needed to take a really, really strong, hard look at my diet and how I was eating, my digestion. And I was put on a really good protocol, and it was all good, and I was following the ketogenic diet, and that's fine. The only problem that I found is that having come off the ketogenic diet, I have completely boomeranged back into wanting to devour everything sweet and sugary, and even found that I was getting back into drinking coffee like I was pre-diagnosis. And when I had my diagnosis done, I also had an allergy test, a food allergy test. It was offered as a special offer on the deal when I had my blood test, and it was like, well, why the heck not? I might as well. So what came up for me was that I was definitely sensitive to caffeine. So really, I should not be drinking coffee, or if I'm going to drink it, I should be drinking the decaffeinated stuff. So long story short, having followed the ketogenic diet, which actually I found quite easy to follow, particularly going out was very easy to follow, drifted back into old habits. And just like my clients, guys, I'm no different to you. I find it really difficult to maintain the new habits and the changes, and when things happen and I need to have my focus on my business or on other stuff that's going on, like my mum being ill, then your eye goes off the ball, and it's very easy to drift back into those old behaviours, which is what I've been doing for the last, I would say, couple of months now. Time kind of ticks on. And so over the weekend, and particularly the start of this week, I was really feeling it. Now, for those of you who have known me for a long time, you didn't have any clue that I'd been feeling not very well for the past 3 years, because when I'm teaching my classes, I cover it up. And when I'm talking with my clients and we're coaching, they are the focus. So I'm not going to be saying how terrible I feel, because ultimately you're not that interested. But having drifted back into those old habits of not eating regularly and what have you, I ended up getting all of the aches and pains that would come back, and the tiredness absolutely overwhelming, to the point that I almost was on the verge of cancelling my classes on Monday night because I felt so bad. Now, obviously, I knew that part of it was physical. Part of it was because of my own choices and the habits that I'd been making lately. But also I knew that part of it was mental, and if I did the classes, I would definitely feel better, particularly the Pilates, which I definitely did. And I've got through this week. However, I've now got a niggling issue on my knee. And this is the interesting thing, because the symptoms were so familiar, and I put it down to the fact that I need to relook at my diet big time, which is what I've been doing for the latter end of this week. Then I kind of have dismissed the knee, thinking, oh, it's just part of the old aches and pains coming back. But actually, it's probably a little bit more than that. So I have got on the phone and made an appointment to see my physio. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is it's very easy for me, just like for you, to put things off and to just go, oh, do you know what, I'll see how it feels. So I've got classes on Friday and I've got classes on Sunday, and I will not be putting that knee under pressure because it's just not worth it. Working through the pain and getting through it is just not worth it. And I know that there's a number of you out there who do the same as I used to and just go, oh, it'll be all right. I'll just push through it. It'll be all right. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. The problem is we make these things worse. So I just thought I'd share with you that although you may see me bouncing around and being jumpy and think that everything's always fine with me, I can assure you it is not, and I have had to really look at what I am doing again food-wise, going right back to getting my gut health back into a good place, so back on following gut restorative measures, being really kind to it, and the most important thing for me is to make sure that I change those habits, but crucially, look and learn. What is it that triggered me back into those old behaviors, and what can I be aware of to stop that from happening next time? So I've actually slept today a couple of times. I've had a 20-minute nap, and then I've had a 10-minute nap, and for me, I'm not great at knowing the signs of when I'm hungry, because of my past history of disordered eating and bulimia and denial and overeating. My ability to judge those hunger signals, and unless I actually hear my stomach growling, and even then I can hear the growl but I can't necessarily feel the hunger sensation. And I know, having spoken to some of my clients, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so for me, the signs that I'm hungry are not always pretty obvious, except when I can't focus. So I'm reading something or I'm listening to something and I can feel almost that I could pass out or fall asleep. And that is a signal that, hey, you need to eat. So back to eating those good fats, which is the key thing that I've been missing out on recently. So just literally downed a tablespoon of fish oil now, and had something to eat, and now I do feel a little bit better, and that is why I'm going to share this with you, because I just want you to know that I am human too, and I don't always get it right with the amount of exercise that I do and with the foods that I'm eating, and I also need to look at my behaviors and modify and change things. The only difference is I know what I'm looking for, and I know what the signs in perhaps a little bit more than you do. So if any of what I've said is resonating with you, and you suspecting that you may have issues with your gut and your whole immune system, then why not just put a comment and just say, hey Vic, yeah, get in touch, and I will do just that. Have a great day, whatever you're up to. Enjoy it.